In the Chinese landscape tradition, towering mountains often symbolize a retreat from the worldly toward the intellectual and spiritual. This painting echoes this sublime sensibility. The artist grew up surrounded by misty, forested mountains, an environment that continues to shape his artistic vision. Today, he lives and paints in Shanghai. Despite the bustle of the city, his work remains rooted in the memories of his childhood landscapes and the quiet moments of daily life. Through subtle shifts in color, textured surfaces, and pared-down compositions, he offers a visual pause, a quiet counterpoint to the speed of modern life. In these works, he uses color and shape very deliberately, layering thin washes of oil paint over coarse burlap, each brushstroke slowed by the stubbornness of the material. It is a practice of patience, a resistance against haste. His approach reflects his larger philosophy. He paints slowly so that the viewers might also slow down and spend more time with each piece. While photographs sometimes trigger memories, he says, "Many of my works no longer need to be based on anything so specific. A lot of it is guided by the flow of the composition." The exhibition title, By the Window, speaks to a recurring theme. The window is not only a view, but a place of lingering, of looking both outward and inward at once. The works avoid narrative or facial expression. Instead, these environments suggest emotional states more than physical spaces. The focus isn't on human activity, but on atmosphere, the stillness of pausing while the world continues in motion. His paintings feel deeply sincere, but their strength lies in the measured grace of their arrangement. Through paintings of surreal marble figures placed in urban landscapes, the artist would like us to consider how modern life has drawn us away from nature, from one another, and even from ourselves. His work reflects on the fragility of modern existence, how easily our structures, comforts, and illusions can crack under pressure. The title, Ostentatious Oasis, reflects the show's central theme. An oasis promises refuge, abundance, life. But paired with ostentatious, it suggests something performative, hollow, a facade more than a sanctuary. Cast in the cool dignity of white marble, Dave's figures evoke centuries of tradition. Yet here, marble no longer symbolizes purity or triumph. Instead, it fractures beneath the weight of war, environmental collapse, and human arrogance, a reminder that even our most enduring achievements are fragile. Early on, Dave's eye for aesthetics was shaped by street art, urban fashion, and skate culture, forms of bold graphics and cultural commentary. Over time, he layered those roots with a reverence for classical form. A trip to Florence, where he saw Renaissance sculptures firsthand, deepened his understanding of how composition, perspective, and color can stir emotional tension. Years of sculptural and photographic practice have shaped the artist's eye for form and spatial presence. He describes his work as suspended moments, drifting between the intimacy of a photograph and the weight of sculpture. His figures often seem almost computer-rendered, as if they belong to no time and no place. This distance strips away easy narratives, leaving us to feel the disquiet. We are left to confront the illusions we live within. What do we value? How do we reconnect? In his fractured marbles, I see not only the end of something, but a chance to start again. Maia has spent years researching their family's past and the history of the Philippines, especially its colonial legacy and how it continues to shape life today. Their art often weaves together personal stories with historical research. By blending family memories, Filipino folklore, and lived experiences, Maia creates a layered world, one that helps us understand what it means to belong to many places at once. This body of work was inspired by a trip to the Philippines. It's a reflection on heritage, mythology, and the experience of finally seeing a place you've only imagined. The exhibition title comes from an ancient Latin word square that reads the same forwards and backwards. It speaks to the echo chamber of history, how stories are handed down, turned over, retold, and sometimes distorted. Many of the paintings include mirrored or doubled images. This doubling creates a strange, third image in the viewer's mind, a metaphor for how the artist sees their own history, part lived, part imagined, part inherited. The process often begins with archival research, old photographs, postcards, colonial documents. But rather than replicate these materials, the artist transforms them, infusing them with something personal, spiritual, and imagined. We see thick forests, tangled roots, and lush textures that feel alive and haunted. These aren't just landscapes. Each one carries unseen forces, stories, and spirits. Nature becomes a way to show how memory and myth are rooted in the land itself. This show teaches us that painting isn't just about what's visible. It's about making the invisible felt. Noelia is a painter who captures the emotional weight of life's quietest moments. Her paintings feel like frozen memories, still unresolved and deeply personal. Nothing is fully explained. In this show, she focuses on the in-between moments, just before something shifts, or just as memory begins to fade. Her subjects often appear alone, shown from unusual angles that create a mood of intimacy, like we're being let in on something private. Many of her works explore the loss of innocence and the tangled emotions of growing up. The artist began drawing as a child, taking painting classes at a local community center. Her early life, shaped by struggle and resourcefulness, helped her develop a sensitive and empathetic eye. These qualities now define her work. Life, with its darkness and softness, shaped her hand. Her portraits of women, echoes of herself and others, are not about likeness, but feeling. Through her work, she hopes viewers will recognize pieces of their own inner lives. Her paintings don't just depict moments, they hold them gently. They remind us that even the most fleeting feelings can leave a lasting trace. The word double-cross speaks of duplicity, yet it hovers between meanings, suggesting betrayal, but also something mirrored or reversed. This show feels like a back and forth between opposites. The artist seems to be asking, what happens when we second-guess ourselves, or live in a space that's neither fully right nor wrong? The gallery describes it as existing somewhere on the spider's thread between heaven and hell. One of the most fascinating things about her process is where she finds her source material. Rather than drawing from life or memory, she pulls from eBay listings and antique stores. She's not drawn to what these objects are, but what they suggest. They carry emotional weight and mystery. She paints with oil on linen. Though someone in Detroit makes her canvases, she primes them herself to control the surface. She uses varnish for a smooth, glossy finish, and she often mixes her own colors. Some works are carefully composed, almost like collages. Others evolve freely, led by texture and intuition. Ray grew up in Michigan, far from galleries, critics, or formal art scenes. She calls that distance a gift. It helped her tune into her own voice. On a studio visit in college, she realized you can make art about what interests you and go as deep as you want. It's not about fitting into a role. Ray didn't follow the traditional route, local shows, residencies, a slow climb. She posted on Instagram, and by doing so, she became part of a new current. Artists pulled into the light not by institutions, but by instinct, presence, and the sheer power of their work. Dogs appear throughout this show as ambiguous figures, neither wholly innocent nor entirely threatening. This duality reflects the show's broader theme, paradise, and what happens when it begins to rot. Even a faithful dog can become a shadow of danger, reminding us how quickly trust can slip into doubt. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again.